welcome back to Wrestling with Power. Mosley here, and Slick Vic is over there, as always, the incomparable Slick Vic, joining me today to talk about some WWE, Raw, SmackDown, Saturday night's main event. We got Slick Vic's picks tonight for the Royal Rumble coming up this weekend in Saudi Arabia. And then we're gonna be guessing, Slick Vic, to round out the show, 3 surprise entrants to this year's Royal Rumble. Because one of the things that, I don't know about you, one of the things that I love the best about the Royal Rumble, at least in years back, was seeing people come out that you wouldn't expect. You would see people returning after injury. You'd see people returning after years of absence. You would see legends come out that you would never expect to see in the ring again. That was always one of my favorite things about the Rumble. I remember when Diesel came out a few some odd years ago, and that was big because, you know, he had already been Kevin Nash in WCW, then when he came back to the WWE, and then here years later, it's like he dyed his hair jet black and came back out as Diesel. Love that. One of my favorite things about the Rumble. Hopefully we get a lot of it this year, but we're going to be talking about all that and more. Slick Vic, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just dandy. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, yeah. Good point. Good observation there, Slick Vic. We are coming to you guys live. Right now it's Tuesday, January the 27th. And if you want the time, it's 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think Slick Vic's got an hour extra from the rest of us over here on the East Coast. But we're coming to you on Tuesday because we had planned on doing this, switching the day to Tuesday. I think we mentioned it on the last episode. And this is going to be the day that hopefully we stick with for the foreseeable future, because it seems to be the best day for everybody involved to get this done.
Sounds
do you agree,
good to me.
Slick Vic?
Yes, I do. Tuesdays work just fine.
Tuesday's gone with the wind, my friend. So, Slick Vic, before we get started today, last week I hit you with the question. You weren't prepared. We had to wait until about halfway through the show. But we're going to get it right on off the bat this week. And I would also appreciate to get a picture of that lovely item that you have back there. Let's take a look at Slick Vic's gimmick.
See if I can get a better shot of it for you people. What you see right there is an oil lamp. You know, after watching the Wyatt Six and the MFT battle over a lantern, I reached into the bowels of the house and found a lantern, or this oil lamp, with even some oil left into it too. I'm not going to light it up, not today, but
oh, come on.
But luckily, this baby came in handy a while back. We had a power outage, and it lit up the house magnificently, and also heated the place up because it's huge.
Yeah, that is a pretty big oil lamp. That is the size of an appropriate sized bong, I would say. But it's one of these glass oil lamps that I don't know about the rest of everybody out there. I have seen one of these in every elderly person's home that I can ever remember as a kid. Grandparents, just older people that you would go to their home. This is something that would be in their home. It's one of those types of lamps. I've never owned one myself, but they're kind of magical to look at. Like, I'm finding myself stuck staring into the oil right now, and I can't take my eyes off of it. It's a very fitting gimmick to go with the crystal ball as well.
And I got the double teaming right here.
Yeah, I feel like they match well together.
They're both
So sweet.
items of magic. Are they both? And they're both in Hyrule, aren't they? Both of them are found in Hyrule.
They are, yes, absolutely. Well, there's the lantern. Was there an oil lamp? I guess it counts the same, right?
Yeah, well, potato, something like that. But
yeah, I get you.
There's a fortune teller in a few games who's got a crystal ball.
One particular fortune teller that happens to be in A Link to the Past, of course, which we all know and love.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. So we got an oil lamp for Slick Vic's gimmick this week. He's already sent me a picture of it. Beautiful. I don't know if you guys saw, but last week, in 24 episodes, I've got one picture of Vic's gimmick, and it was of the Rodney Dangerfield action figure from last week. And I put that up, and it was just so funny after I had put that picture up. Every time I looked at it, it just brought a smile to my face.
He
Good
got
stuff.
a lot of respect, didn't he?
He got more respect than he's probably ever had. I mean, he ended up at a thrift shop, and now here he is on Wrestling with Power all these years later. So I mean, he got his appropriate respect, I would say.
Yeah.
But all right, awesome. So we got Slick Vic's gimmick, Slick Vic's magic lantern back there. I guess we should probably talk about some news and maybe even some breaking news. And on that topic, I'm going to hit you with a little bit of our new breaking news theme. Good stuff. I could let it play. It's literally like 3.5 minutes long, but we'll cut it off there because we only got a couple of topics to talk about. I'll go ahead and get rid of the not so interesting one first. Samantha Irvin made a post on social media saying that she was not interested in returning to WWE, which I believe she said this before, but this was actually more recent that she said this in the past couple of days. You know, I really like Samantha Irvin. I liked her work, and I think a lot of people liked her work and respected her passion, which was very apparent in her work as an announcer. And now I'm finding myself not really giving a shit what she does, because ever since she left WWE, she's just been so vocal about never wanting to come back. You know, she's not been very positive about her experience there, which maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It seemed like she had a pretty good gig myself, getting paid a lot of money to do what she does. But Vic, she talked about like wanting to be a singer and wanting to do this and that. Look, I don't think she's ever going to do anything that is going to amount to even half the popularity of the gig she had. And now here she is just saying she has no desire to ever return. Like, what is it? Where is this coming from, Vic? You go from being this super passionate, you know, announcer that we haven't seen in years and years and years, if ever, to now just completely turning your back. Does it feel like that to you, Vic?
Well, I too was also a fan of Samantha Irvin. I thought she was very passionate in those deliveries with the big title match announcements the big intros for the title matches. She was really good at that. I can understand her probably wanting to leave when Ricochet left.
Yeah,
but I did not know how much disdain she had for her time in WWE. This is new to me.
Yeah, but, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I don't know if I'm not rooting against her when I say this, but I agree with you with the whole. I don't think she's going to do much besides wrestling. If she's ever going to... Is she even doing any wrestling right now?
No, I don't think she's been doing anything, because remember, she had a non-compete clause as well. Hers was like 2 years long.
2 years for a ring announcer? That's wild.
Yeah, don't you remember that?
No. But I believe you.
Can I have that?
We got to run in, ladies and gentlemen.
You got to run in right in the middle of the show, coming in to steal. Hey, why don't you bring me a vape while you're at it? If you're going to come do all that business. Comes in to steal the switch. All right. Yeah. Anyway, Samantha Irvin. Man, I don't know. I think that maybe Ricochet had something to do with this. And I think it's kind of lame, because Ricochet's pretty lame himself, that she's stuck with this guy. And she could easily just leave him for somebody who's smarter, at least when it comes to things like this, wouldn't you think, Slick Vic? I mean,
I'm not touching that one.
I will. Her options are very open, I would say. And Ricochet is just an idiot, anymore. I used to like him, but ever since he left WWE, he got on the social media, and that's all he does is, like, he builds his whole life around dissing WWE. So, a little bit that's probably rubbed off on her, even if her time there wasn't particularly bad, which I can't imagine it was. She always looked like she was having a great time.
Isn't a lot of Ricochet's behavior like in character on social media? Isn't he playing a over the top heel in AEW right now? I don't know because I don't watch, but
I'm not sure. I think he is a heel in AEW, but I'm not sure if I don't think his social media is specifically character. I think it's a lot of just his opinions, and a lot of his opinions are dog shit. And they're just, he's just one of these annoying guys. Honestly, probably the most annoying wrestler on social media that has no right to be annoying is Ricochet, in my opinion. So,
okay.
Anyway, that's that. So, anyway, who's the new gal that we got? We got a new gal and a new guy. I don't know the guy's name, but who's the girl?
Alicia Taylor.
Alicia Taylor. And Alicia Taylor does a fantastic job. I really dig her. I actually kind of like how she's not so over the top. Her delivery is excellent, but she doesn't, go way over and all this stuff like Samantha did, which a lot of people loved, but could be a bit much sometimes. And what's the guy's name? Do you know the guy's name? Isn't he on SmackDown?
Is it something Rome?
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him as much.
Do you remember how?
Is it Chad Rome?
I don't know, but
his name's probably
Howard
Chad.
Finkel?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Howard Finkel is my, when I think of ring announcers for wrestling, I can't not think of Howard Finkel.
I think Finkel was the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every time that I watch an old pay-per-view, and it's happened recently when we were watching the 98 Rumble, was just... He was at the 98 Rumble, was he not? He was the ring announcer. Is that what I was watching? Yes, it was. I know for a fact. I know for a fact now. In any time, I mean, it's not just that one. He was always the same, but he was always just so, like, spot on. Like, he knew exactly who he was and how he needed to deliver it. It was so good.
His and new was so iconic.
Yeah. I want to get that soundbite, but I haven't been able to find it. And plus, his name is perfect for like a 1980s combat sports announcer, wrestling announcer, Howard Finkel. Like that, you don't use that name for anything else besides being an announcer. The Fink.
Well, I sent you the name of the SmackDown ring announcer.
Is it Chad?
No. He's a Mark.
No way. Is he really? Where'd you send it?
The Riverside chat.
Oh, see, we've got all these different things. Mark Nash. Mark Nash. Wonder if he's related to Kevin.
No, but there was a Mike Rome, so I wasn't completely off.
Yeah, Mike
Rome. There was a Mike Rome that was well, actually, I think he is still going. I think he's the NXT ring announcer. That's probably where I got it from.
Okay. My favorite ring announcer of all time, though, I gotta say, is Brad Buffer. Number one.
Yeah. The Buffer family is kind of a big deal.
He's fallen on hard times recently, but it's okay. We've got him making wonderful art for us here at Wrestling with Power, as well as a few theme songs and things of that nature. He's a multi-talented guy, if you didn't know.
All right. What else is in the news this week, Mr. Mosley?
Well, gosh damn, I forgot that we were even talking about news for a second. Yes, one more thing in the news, breaking news actually today. It broke. It's been talked about the last few days, but it's been made official today in that Tommaso Ciampa is no longer with the WWE. He's gone. Wrestling on SmackDown. You could have seen him on SmackDown every week. Thought he was really entertaining during the open challenge Ilya Dragunov was doing, and now he's not there. He's just gone. Vic, as the premier SmackDown show reviewee, whatever.
It's
Review, yes. How does this make you feel?
Well, I was kind of taken aback because this was so under the radar that I was like, "Oh, Ciampa's gone. What happened?" And do we have a reason why he's gone?
No.
Okay.
So far, no. I mean, it just broke today that he's gone. He's no longer under contract. Contract didn't renew. Whatever. It was probably something about money. He's probably going to show up in AEW. Something like that. But
I mean, he was entertaining. I certainly found him funny. I mean, I like the whole don't call me a jackass bit that him and Gargano and Candice were all doing together. That was fun. It was lighthearted, so to speak, even though they used the word jackass, but it was good for a chuckle.
I liked it, and I always liked Tommaso Ciampa. I thought he was great in NXT. That was when he was in NXT. I was still kind of watching it occasionally, and I was expecting more out of him, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe he was expecting more out of what he was given when he got to the main roster, and he didn't get it. So you only got so many years on this rock. Got to make the best of him, I guess.
So the company wished him the best in his future endeavors.
They gave him the Slick Vic treatment. They sure did. Yeah.
Well,
but that's
Godspeed.
Godspeed, and we'll see you in AEW television here in a week or two, Tommaso. Well, actually, no.
TNA.
He won't show up in TNA. There's no way he'll be in AEW, I'm sure, but no, not in a week because WWE's got that on lockdown. It'd probably be about a year before we see him anywhere, I'd say. Year or two. Samantha Irvin had a 2-year non-compete clause, so we'll see what happens. That's all I got in news, Slick Vic. Do you want to take us into some SmackDown?
I sure can. I sure will. I sure want to.
Well, all right.
I'll do it. I'll do
fantastic.
it all, man. I'll do it everything. Starting with SmackDown from January 23rd, 2026 in Montreal, Quebec. Oh no, did I lose you?
Slick Vic, I lost you for a minute.
All right, we're back. We're live, pal. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I lost you for a minute. You started to say I'd go into SmackDown and you completely froze. So let's try it again.
Should I, run that back? All right, SmackDown, January 23rd, 2026 from Montreal, Quebec. The show starts with a Sami Zayn promo. He is, of course, getting a hero's welcome, speaks some French, speaks some English, hypes up the main event for tomorrow and Saturday night's main event. Trick Williams interrupts. Let's talk about it. He runs down Sami, says he repeatedly can't get the job done. Sami responds saying, "We're not on the same level," which angers Trick. Should have whooped his ass with some of them lemon pepper steppers for that comment. Anyways, Damian Priest comes up, or I should say he comes out, tells Trick he does too much of this, hand gesturing. Says he'll drop Trick Willie where he stands, and they have a brawl. This was a decent segment. All three men looked and sounded good. I wouldn't have pulled Sami off Trick if I was Damian, but still, I was entertained. And then Randy Orton is seen backstage instead of in the ring. He's watching it on a monitor. He yells at Kathy Kelly saying this is the year of the Viper and he's going to face Drew at the Rumble. Moving on, we find out that Carmella Hayes will face Ilya Dragunov in the U.S. Open title challenge tonight. The Miz walks in and quotes my favorite Christmas movie when he tells Carmelo he's what the French call les incompetents. I don't know if I said that one right, but do you know what movie that's from?
No, I don't. I was about to ask.
Home Alone. Have you ever seen Home Alone?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't remember it that well. Was for the first one? Home Alone 1?
Yeah, okay. First one, yep. Yeah, one of Kevin's sisters, cousins, whatever, just, at the beginning of the movie, everyone's shitting on Kevin. And one of them says something in French, which is what I just repeated, probably butchered, but I'm going to move on.
I think that meant incompetent.
Yeah, I think so.
Or stupid.
So we now have our first match, Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov for the U.S. title. Now, these two worked great together. They both got their shit in. Ilya hit an impressive second rope suplex, deadlifting Melo over him. Then later hits a Death Valley driver in the corner. Now, was the coast to coast supposed to get countered into the first 48? Because the timing seemed off and Ilya immediately turned it into a powerbomb. So I don't know if that was a botch or it was just improvised or supposed to happen that way. Melo goes over after the Miz interrupts by throwing Ilya off the top rope, leading to Melo hitting the first 48 for the pin. Now, I'm thinking to myself, should they keep the U.S. Actually, I want to ask you this question. Should they keep the U.S. title open challenge going after Hayes' reign, or should they build a feud around the belt next? Are you burnt out on this open challenge, or you don't mind it, or you don't care one way or the other?
I am burnt out on it. I like the U.S. Open Challenge when it's necessary, or if it's like once in a great... Like, it made sense whenever John Cena did it, because John Cena had been a previous multi-time WWE champion. Now he was going back and winning this U.S. title. To elevate it, he was defending it every week, and it made sense. When Sami Zayn brought it back, it made sense because it was during John Cena's retirement tour, and they were going, it made sense for him to pay homage to that. I think after Sami Zayn, they should have dropped it. I don't think they should have did it during Ilya Dragunov's, because Ilya, as impressive as he is, we saw too much of him too often, I think, and realized that a lot of it's the same. A lot of it meshes together. You don't have time to really get into a meaningful storyline when you're defending the title against somebody different every week, and that cuts out a big part of your character. You're left with in-ring work, and not everybody's in-ring work can carry them. I don't think anybody's in-ring work alone can carry them. So yeah, having said that, definitely get it. It was done after Sammy, so I'm over it.
Well, I thought the match was good. It was, it's what I expected. Not run of the mill, but it was good. So I'll let you take the floor here. Any words or wisdoms or musings on the opening promo or this match?
I mean, not particularly anything more than you said. I thought it was good. The spot that you mentioned, I caught that too. I'm not sure if that was... I think that might have been a botch or maybe just a miscommunication that they tried to cover up. Sort of, but you could clearly tell that something didn't go right. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the answer is there. But yeah, I think that you caught that. I caught that as well. Decent match. Just like you said, run of the mill, nothing particularly interesting, because there's not really a whole lot behind it. You just have the former champion and the current champion, which would seem like a big deal, but there's not really been much build to that. So,
okay.
But let me ask you something, Slick Vic. When thinking about this U.S. Open Challenge every week, would it not make more sense for them to have a WWE Television Championship and do it that way?
It does make sense, but I think the same thing would apply. After a couple of months, you're just going to get burnt out on seeing these television championships, unless they find ways to gimmick it up a little bit, because just one-on-one matches with solid workers every week, eventually it's just feels routine.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right, so Next, we have a sit-down interview with Michael Cole interviewing Cody Rhodes, which immediately gets interrupted by Jacob Fatu, who takes Cole's seat. And Fatu says he was only targeting Drew McIntyre at the end of the 3-Stage of Hell match, but since Cody put his hand on him, Jacob attacked Cody. Cody says Jacob was acting, which is also what put him in prison. Jacob fires back with some of his history, tells Cody that they don't make him like me anymore. Hell, they ain't ever make him like me. Jacob sounded fantastic here. Very, very intense stuff. I thought it was really good. And it showed that Jacob can cut a promo and he can bring some intensity. And I look forward to what they do next. Backstage, Chelsea Green tries to recruit Jordynne Grace into the Secret Service, which she actually agrees to, or so it seems. We find out via a video montage that Roman Reigns will be at the Royal Rumble. He couldn't have made an appearance or done something a little more dramatic. We got one of them. We just got like a little video teaser.
He emailed his participation in. Actually, I think I put that on my Raw review as well. So I'm glad you mentioned it here because I completely forgot that we saw this on SmackDown.
I don't know if you are if you're an Avengers fan, but they've been running a series of teasers saying Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. The X-Men will return in Avengers Doomsday. I'm thinking this one, like Roman Reigns will return at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they might as well just put that little blurb there. Just, yeah, because it was giving me those Avengers teasers vibes. Anyways,
Gotcha.
Moving on. Chelsea Green versus Jade Cargill in a non-title match. Chelsea's ring gear is inspired by the Mountie, which popped me. Do you know who the Mountie is? Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you happen? All right. The former IC champion. Mountie always gets his man.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jade and Jordynne start jawing at each other on the outside, and Chelsea comes flying in with a really aggressive dive, which lands on Jade pretty hard. It looked really good. Jade takes over, slams Chelsea down, starts doing push-ups like she's channeling Scott Steiner. She talks some more trash to Jordynne, but Chelsea cuts her off with a big top rope dropkick. Jade just pops right back up, though. It's a power bomb. Alba Fire ends up catching some shrapnel in the form of a pump kick from Jade. Then Jade hits Chelsea with Jaded and gets the win. I basically covered the whole match because it was only 3 minutes, so not exactly a big investment of my time, so it's all right.
Did you say 3 minutes?
I did. Oh, man, do I have to watch my back for a couple Samoans jumping me right now?
Yeah.
Anyways, as I mentioned, it's a short. It just, we got to protect Jade. I feel like, sure, don't make it more than 3 minutes. But Chelsea looked pretty good here. She came at Jade with some heavy shots, but Jade, of course, was the dominant one. The match is what it is. Obviously, building to Jade versus Jordynne at some point. Post-match, Jordynne says she's in the Rumble. If she wins, she's coming after Jade. And then challenges her to a match then and there, but Jade leaves. Well, how are you feeling about Jacob and Cody and Jade and Jordynne and Chelsea?
The Jacob and Cody spot was excellent. That was really good. It just goes to show you how good Jacob is and how good he is going to be. And, of course, I'm pumped for Jordynne. She's my pick.
Your pick for something coming up?
I think so. And you know what? I know we talked earlier about doing the 3 surprise entrants. I didn't even think about who might be the winners because I was leaving that up to you anyway because it's your picks. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it now. It's Jordynne Grace is winning the Women's Rumble.
Well, I do want to hear who you have in mind. Who are your predictions for the Rumble? At least the Rumble. We'll get around to it.
Yeah, I'll give you a few options.
Okay. So, backstage, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are showing more signs of tension brewing. And then Solo Sikoa says when he looks into the lantern, he sees himself winning the Rumble. I'm telling you that lantern's just not of this world, man. It's got to be from Hyrule. And he's using the lens of truth, right? That's what tells him. That's how he sees the future. It's
something like that. The mask of truth, the lens of truth, the mirror from A Link to the Past.
Oh man, this is not the first time this is not the last time we're gonna speak of a lantern, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying it. Leave us some
Zelda
feedback.
references of it.
Anyways, so we have the match. We have our tag team match for the tag team championship. We have Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga versus Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. Now, I don't know if you caught this part, but did the Wyatts get a remixed theme song? Was it altered a bit?
I didn't catch it. I didn't notice if they did.
Okay.
No. Normally, I would notice something like that, so it's making me wonder.
Now, I said this last time, but Gacy and Lumis are fantastic together. Their tandem offense is a lot of fun to watch. A match between them and the Motor City Machine Guns better happen at some point, and because just book it, forget about it. Book it, forget about it.
On a big stage. Don't stick it on a SmackDown or a random that needs to be a big stage deal.
Yeah, Tama and Solo are also good characters. Tama is unhinged, and Solo is underrated in my opinion. He can be serious, he can be funny, he can be tough, he can be cowardly. I think he's good. That's the point I'm trying to make there. Anyways, there's a lot of interference from both factions. It looked like Uncle Howdy was once again going to recover the lantern, but gets spiked by Solo. Man, he was going to return it to Hyrule too. Anyway, Solo uses the lantern as a weapon and brains Lumis with it. Tama hits the cutthroat and wins the match and the titles for the MFT. Decent match. Lots of fast-paced fun. A lot of stuff happening outside the ring with members of both sides. I had fun with this. Maybe a little too much fun with all the stupid lantern jokes I've been making all night, but I was chuckling. I'm like, not the lantern. Oh, never mind. All right, so
I can only imagine how Mrs. Slick Vic feels every 5 seconds, and you're making lantern jokes.
I'll tell you a lot of head shaking like this.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm curious to get your thoughts on Alexa and Charlotte and this tag team match, which also featured a lantern.
Man, the tag team match, like you said, I want to see that same thing. The match itself was, I hate to say this, Slick Vic, but I'm starting to get to where, and we'll talk about it here in a moment with the Raw deal, where they have so many 6-man and 8-man matches and stuff that when any kind of multi-person match comes up, half of my brain shuts down. And so I don't catch things. You asked me about the music, I don't remember it, and that's something that I would have likely noticed. I hope that they get their lantern back. I will say that much. I hope they get it back. For the sake of Hyrule, I hope they get it back.
All right. So, backstage, R-Truth makes some ball jokes to Aldis. AJ Styles comes in and tells Aldis he accepted the match with Gunther because of the disrespect shown by Gunther after the fact. But there's a surprise. Shinsuke Nakamura walks in and challenges AJ to a match tomorrow at Saturday night's main event to prove he's still phenomenal.
Yep.
AJ accepts. It's made official.
That was our fourth match that we didn't know at the beginning of because we did our show on Friday. We did not know that there was a fourth match. It actually happened during SmackDown, so there it was.
Yeah. And then we have Nathan Frazier versus Johnny Gargano. Nathan Frazier brings some high-octane offense. I believe Cole even used that word. But then eats a top rope buckle from when Gargano dropped him on it. That looked good. Nathan hits a springboard backflip into the Scorpion Death Drop. I'm going to call it the reverse DDT as I see it. And that looked smooth and good. A lot of this was Nathan Frazier showing off what he can do, and that's fine. We know what Johnny can already bring to the table. We can use some of Nathan to see what he can do. The match had a pretty funny, I thought it was a pretty funny ending. Axiom swipes the mask from Candice and then puts it on her backwards. Candice starts swinging and hits Gargano, who gets rolled up by Frazier for the win. fun match. As mentioned, this is about getting Nathan Frazier over. And post-match, Candice steals the mask back and runs off with it into the night. Mm-hmm. So the heels still have it. And then that's when I noticed that Tommaso Ciampa wasn't here, and he's been off for a while. This is where it actually hit me. Like, Tommaso Ciampa's gone.
There's a lot of
words. Hey, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we talked about Ciampa, and we know what's going on with him now. After the fact, I do have some thoughts. First of all, Nathan Frazier's a star. I'm not sure that his character work is that good, but he's obviously got the in-ring work down. We got a lot of thieves on SmackDown, apparently. People stealing masks, people stealing lanterns. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot of thieves. And you also mentioned, like you said just then, about Tommaso being gone. What does Johnny Gargano do now? Where does he go? Because Tommaso was his partner, and those two had been together. They had been linked over the course of their career for years. Where does that leave Gargano?
That's a good question, because I remember seeing him come up in NXT, and he was a babyface. A kind of a likable one, too, wasn't he? Was he not? I feel like he was,
You talking about Gargano?
Gargano.
Yeah, Johnny Wrestling. Yeah,
Johnny Wrestling. Yeah, that's a good way to. That's what they used to call him. Anyways,
yeah, I mean, and he was huge in NXT. So was Ciampa, but they were still kind of linked together in where they had been, and yeah, like where does he go from here? I don't know.
Maybe I mean, I don't know if he'll ever be main eventer. He's gonna right now. I think he'll be the mid-card heel that works with other mid-card babyfaces.
Maybe the next U.S. champion. He could win the championship and then say, "I'm not doing the open challenge," because he's a heel, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, that could work.
There we go. We got it figured out.
All right. Backstage, Nia Jax and Lash Legend say they're going to win the titles and work together to win the Rumble together. That's not quite how it works, but okay. Drew McIntyre comes out to cut a promo, mocks the Montreal Canadian hockey team. And you know what? I miss that. I it's old school cheap heel heat where you just make fun of the local sports teams. It's especially when they're not doing well. But it's fun.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of that. A quick little side story. A long time ago, God, this must have been 2002, because I went to a Raw, and that same year, the Chicago Bears did really well, and Mr. Perfect came out. Kurt Hennig was there, and he grabbed the mic and he talked about how what's it called? Brian Urlacher was the linebacker for the Chicago Bears at the time. He was like, "You guys had a good season, but it wasn't perfect."
Did people start booing him?
Yeah. I don't know. I was laughing. I was laughing. Get Brian Urlacher in the front row. The Bears made it to the playoffs. They had a good season, but it wasn't perfect. Anyways, nice. What did I leave out? Drew McIntyre's cutting a promo. He ran down the Montreal Canadiens, the hockey team. Anyways, Drew still denies attacking Jacob, says the only way Cody can get a rematch is by winning the Rumble, then hypes up the Fatal 4-Way for tomorrow. He runs down all the opponents. The best is when he says Randy Orton is now civilized Randall Keith Orton who can't get the job done when it counts. Then says Sammy's kid is disappointed when he first opened his eyes and found out Sami Zayn was his father. God damn. Oh, man. As always, Drew cut a fantastic promo. Real savagely good stuff. All right. Backstage, Trick Williams and Ray Phoenix trade barbs. I think they'll have a match next week. Kit Wilson still wants to rid WWE of toxic masculinity. A confused Matt Cardona challenges him to a match, I think. So that was a whole lot of stuff there. Any thoughts on Drew's promo or any of the other backstage shenanigans?
No, I mean, not in particular. I was kind of breezing through this, to be honest with you, Vic. I did watch it after the fact, so I was sort of on to the next thing.
Okay, moving right along then. You're gonna love this next part, man, because you know what? I wrote this later in my Raw review because there is so many multi-man matches this weekend that it became like, you know, I grew fatigue. Fatigue really set in on these multi-man matches where it's just bam, bam, bam action.
Yeah, no, I even messaged you during Raw, and I was like, God, what is going on with this? So the first match on Raw was a 6-women tag team match. It's like, oh, man.
Well, the next match is a 3-team women's match.
God.
Charlotte and Alexa versus Nia and Lash versus Julia and Kiana for a future championship match. So, like last week, Charlotte got a lot of ring time and a lot of offense again. Her chops actually looked a lot better this time around. I can hear the impact. Early in the match, Alexa splashed onto 4 heels and they couldn't catch her. Oh, okay. There was a spot where Nia is going to hit Charlotte with a... When I say they couldn't catch her, I mean like they all took the bump.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Alexa took down 4 people, including Nia Jax and Lash Legend.
It always looks so silly. That looks silly even when it's a large person doing it. I mean, if it was like a viscera-sized person, I would understand. But anything other than that, that's such a silly spot I wish they'd get rid of.
The worst is when they're just standing around waiting for it, and when they stand around too long, it becomes a little awkward. The camera can hide it sometimes, but it would be better if they just sped it along or not done it.
Agreed.
Anyways, there was a spot where Nia was going to hit Charlotte with a second rope Samoan drop, but then Kiana power bombs Nia, and Nia is still holding Charlotte, but then she only gets the 2 count when she pins Charlotte, which would have been really good if that was the finish, because that looked pretty brutal. Like, not pretty brutal, it looked impactful.
Yes.
Anyways, the finish came when Lash hit the Lash extension on Bliss, but Charlotte spears Lash, and Kiana steals the pin, thus making her and Julia #1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Match is all right. I was kind of surprised by the winners. I thought maybe Lash and Nia would go over and challenge Rio, but anyways, Charlotte and Kiana looked good. Lash is still too green to judge. Nia didn't hurt anybody, and there was some decent action, so it's all right.
Yeah. Nia got powerbombed. That was cool. I'm actually kind of impressed by Lash. I will say that about this match, and really kind of the last few times that she's been out there. To have such little experience, she's pretty good, and I think she'll be really good in a year or two.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sami Zayn says he wants to have Damien's back during his match tonight. Damien says stay out of it. They have a tense moment, but then Sami just excuses himself, and Damien's like, all right. And Sami confronts Drew and slaps him right in the face. Drew gets mad and has a angry face at the camera. We move on. Cody Rhodes tells AJ good luck against Gunther. Then Cody goes into his bus but sees an autographed picture of Drew McIntyre on the door window. Which Cody is not happy about that, but I'm like, has Cody never played Mortal Kombat 2? Drew McIntyre just performed Johnny Cage's Friendship.
Yeah, that was totally a friendship. He got the wrong impression. Yeah.
Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviews Julia and Kiana. Julia says something in Spanish. Kiana says that means soon they'll be tag champions, and Julia will win the Rumble and become a triple champion. All right. Time for our main event. I know you're breathing a sigh of relief now. We have Damian Priest versus Trick Williams. They start with some chain wrestling. Trick pays tribute to Booker T by doing the the 5-time pose. Then he chops Priest. Damian tries to pay tribute to Undertaker by going for old school, but Trick breaks it up. And Sammy is now here on the outside. Damian and Trick exchange big shots until both go down. Trick with another Booker T move, the bookend, which is like the rock bottom.
Yeah.
Damian hits Canyon's flatliner. They fight outside. Sammy gets hit accidentally, which results in the match being thrown out. Post-match, Randy Orton comes for an RKO out of nowhere to Trick, and then one to Sami Zayn for good measure to end the show. This is a run-of-the-mill match. Just here to hype the four-way for tomorrow. Nothing more, nothing less. Just a mediocre match.
Yeah. Kind of fell flat for me. Kind of fell flat. I think that maybe, especially if you were there live, this was something where it's like, okay, let's have Randy go out and just RKO people and leave the people happy. That's pretty much the only thing. That's the only thing that I could think. Because on TV even that gets across, but especially for the live crowd and considering everything that came before it, that I thought it was like a courtesy RKO or not a courtesy, a
palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. Good way to put it. Yes.
All right. Well, shall we move right along to Saturday night's main event? Is there any horseman business that needs to go on before?
I'm good for now. Yeah, I'm good.
Let's do it. Well, you want to go ahead and call the opening segment?
Sure. Yeah. So Saturday night's main event was on January the 24th, just a mere 3 days ago now. And it was in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And the show opens with Stephanie McMahon, who says that Joe Tessitore, who's usually up there with her, stuck in an airport in Detroit due to the bad winter storms happening. So she has to go it alone. But she actually does pretty good. I've been annoyed with Stephanie McMahon on these shows for the past several that she's been a part of. But this, I thought she did well. And she got the crowd behind her because she gave them a "Are you ready?" and then gave him another "Are you ready?" but this time in French, and it was a good little spot. So, then we get, I think there was a video package maybe after that, and then we have a match, or the match that never was, as I have here in my notes. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. So, we see the camera backstage. It fired up Jacob Fatu, seen walking from the backstage area into the arena, and he's talking smack the whole way down. He says that he's going to beat Cody's ass, and he went from EBT to WWE. I like that. And I just want to say, I dig Jacob's new look. Without the shirt, he doesn't look like so much of... He doesn't look so out of shape. Like, without the shirt, you can tell he's definitely in shape. He's definitely been putting in some work. You wouldn't catch me without a shirt on WWE television. I'm just going to say that right away. Cody comes out in the usual fashion. He hits his pose on the turnbuckle. The pyro's going off, and Fatu jumps him even before the pyro can finish. They brawl for a little bit. They end up knocking down referee Charles Robinson. So the match never officially begins because Charles never rings the bell for it to begin. Several referees and other crew, they head ringside to try and break up the brawl, but to no avail. Cody and Jacob end up fighting into the crowd and continue to fight off the security, trying to stop them. The fight continues up through the lower arena into the concourse, where Cody heaves trash cans and drinks at Jacob. I believe one of the security guys gets put through a table. They fight back into the arena and towards the ring, with Nick Aldis following closely behind, yelling at him. They reach an area close to ringside where Drew McIntyre shows up and throws Jacob through a nearby table, then powerbombs Cody off of the pseudo stage they have rigged up for this spot in the crowd. Alright, that was your first match. The match that never was. The match that did not actually ever start. So, here's my thoughts on this, Slick Vic. It was a nice little brawl, but there was absolutely no quality to it. It was just a fight, everywhere in the arena. The thing that bugged me, there were 6 or 7 referees that came down to check on Charles Robinson, but not one of them could replace him and actually get the match going. You had referees, you had backstage crew, everybody was coming out to check on Charles, and it took all 20 of them to cart him to the back. Not one ref could stay behind and do their job. Come on, man. I mean, I understand that the plan was to have an all-out brawl and both men would have been counted out anyway or whatever, but I thought it was kind of silly to have so many officials there and not one could have stayed and started the match. But, hell of a brawl. That's my thoughts. And Slick Vic, I'd like to get yours.
You know, I really don't have much to add. It's just it was a brawl. I was just waiting for the match to start, and they ended up just brawling and brawling and brawling, and people went through tables and stuff at the end when Drew McIntyre came out. But the most important thing is, do I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Do I get a yeah, or do I get a boo?
A yay or a boo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely get a yay, Slick Vic. And that was a hell of a call. And when it happened, first of all, let's say that for this Saturday night's main event, and this is reiterating, we're having Slick Vic's picks. The last episode, he picked the winners of these matches, and we're also doing the Gigawatt ratings that I have assembled myself. But Slick Vic, you said that this would be a double DQ. Essentially, it was. The match never actually got started, so you either throw it out altogether, which would be stupid, or you say that you were correct. And I think we say that you were correct because this was, I mean, you hit it on the nose, really. You could not have predicted it any better than you predicted it. I mean,
that's high praise.
Even if you would have said double count out, I feel like that would have been more wrong than the way it was. Because essentially it was a double DQ. They both knocked out the referee. So if the match had got started and that's how it went, they would have been DQ'd instantly and they would have kept fighting. You can't make any clearer of a distinction here, Slick Vic. You definitely got that one right. You said it was going to be a double DQ. That's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. And for that, I'm going to give him a...
Yeah! Yeah.
As far as the ratings for this go, Slick Vic, I struggled with this because it wasn't really a match. There was no match to it. But that was also why I cut down on the score quite a bit. And I gave it a 3 out of 10. So build got a 1. There's been a little build up to this match, really since Survivor Series. Quality got a half. Memorable moments got a 1. There were some memorable moments in here. Emotion got a half, and result got a 0 because there was no result. There was no winner one way or the other. It was just thrown out essentially. So 3 out of 10 for the match that never was. Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
Slick Vic, would you like to bring us the next match on the card?
Yes, I will. We have, for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, we have Rio, which is Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky versus the Judgment Day, featuring Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan. Io starts for the babyfaces, gets the best of both heels until a decent distraction job using the ring skirt gets the heels take charge. Rhea gets the hot tag. The crowd explodes. She takes charge with some power moves until Roxanne reverses a powerbomb into a Hurricane Rana, followed by a code breaker from Liv. Both teams now trade big moves. Roxanne hits the pop rocks on Io and Rhea. It was actually too late to break it up, but the ref had to stop his count.
I caught that too, and then I thought that maybe I didn't see it right, but when it first happened, I was like, wait, he stopped counting, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's totally what happened. Yeah, okay.
It was all within camera sight, so I was kind of like, shit. It was not as bad as when Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton had that thing where Nia didn't kick out and the ref stopped the count.
Definitely not as bad.
All right. And nonetheless, Big Sexy Raquel came in. That's her new self-appointed nickname.
She needs to have the jackknife as her finisher. Just go at it full force.
I mean, the Tejana bomb is also a power bomb. Close.
I like the jackknife better.
Okay.
Just me.
She comes in, she cleans house, but then Stephanie Vicaire comes in, and they fight their way to the back. And the finish comes when Liv hits Io with Oblivion, while Rhea tags herself in and hits Liv with a Riptide to get the win. Overall, I thought this was a good match. The best women's tag match all weekend. And there were a few times where I thought the Judgment Day might actually win. Like when Liv hit this cradle slam type move into a pin, which I've never seen before. And I was like, oh, wait. Oh, she kicked out. And then when Raquel came out, I'm like, oh, fuck, they're gonna screw the heat. They're going to screw the baby faces. But in the end, the baby faces went over. And my choice for this match last week, my pick was Rio.
Riho.
Yeah.
All right, so Slick Vic is 2 for 4 as of right now. We're in the second match. Well, Slick Vic, I gave this match, I'll go ahead and give my rating a 5 out of 10, which is pretty good considering, I think, everything that I've said to the negatives about multiple person matches and whatnot. But I've got some notes here, so I'll elaborate a little bit. Build got a half, quality got a 2, so 2 out of 2 for quality. Very, very good quality match. Memorable moments got a 0 because I don't remember anything specifically about it even now, much less 2 or 3 weeks from now. Emotion got a half and result got a 2, so the right team won. I thought the tandem offense by the Judgment Day gals, the creative heel tactics with the ring apron spot, pulling the ring apron, distracting the referee, that was good stuff. I like the matching colors of the Judgment Day team here as well. I don't know if you noticed this, Vic, but they were matching. They actually look like a legit tag team, and their performance backed it up. They're doing really good. Wouldn't mind if it became a more permanent thing going forward, seeing these two, specifically these two together. As far as the match itself, no one individual could outshine Rhea Ripley in this match. But I feel like as a team, the Judgment Day girls were more impressive here, for sure. I'm glad that Stephanie Vaquer is back out of the boot, but I think the interference by Raquel was unnecessary. The spot just took away from what was otherwise a really good tag team match for these 4 girls.
Very well said. Now let me ask you something. You gave it a 0 for memorable moments. Does the botch count as a memorable moment?
I'm not sure. That would be the closest thing to a memorable moment, but and honestly, if I were going to give that anything, I'd give it like a half. But you know, at the same time, it's not the kind of botch that you want to remember necessarily. So
No, that was not a good one at all. That's one that you want to edit. They want to edit out the future broadcasts.
Yeah, we'll never see that again. All right, well, moving on from that match, Slick Vic, we have one of the most anticipated matches of this entire show with AJ Styles taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. And for those of you who don't know, these guys have a long history going all the way back to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had several matches there during their time there, and now we're getting to see them probably for the last time ever. So it was definitely, for me, match of the night, and one to definitely check out. If you skip every other match in this card, this was the best match of the night, and one of the best matches I've seen in recent memory. Anyway, getting into it. I have several play-by-play notes for this, so I do apologize beforehand for those of you who don't like listening to that kind of thing, but I had no other way to do this than to take a lot of play-by-play notes, apparently. But we get Styles, he's coming out to the ring, and he's wearing a mask, oddly enough. Michael Cole lets us know what's going on. He states that the last time that AJ Styles wore a mask to the ring was in New Japan Pro Wrestling a decade ago, when he took on Shinsuke Nakamura for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. I thought that was a nice touch. The match starts. It's slow, simple grappling early on, but they get into fast-paced action quickly after. AJ gives Nakamura the Bullet Club bang taunt, and Nakamura returns with his "come on." I can't do it as good as Slick Vic, but you know what I'm saying. Returns it with that. Nakamura gets a brief advantage. AJ turns the tides. He hits several running attacks, followed by his neckbreaker off the shoulders move, which I actually know the name of now, thanks to Monday Night Raw. But at this time, during this match, I did not know what the name of it was. I'm going to have to go to my Raw notes to actually tell you what the name of that move is. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Slick Vic? Where he throws him off the
Yeah.
shoulders and he hits his
Something
neck.
Hiroshi or something like that.
Ushigoroshi. That's the name of it. All right, so he hits that move. It sounds like a Street Fighter character. All right, neckbreaker move off the... Where are we at? Lots of fierce kicks from Nakamura during a string of offense, culminating with a jumping knee to the face from the middle turnbuckle. Gets 2 count out of it. AJ catches Nakamura with a dragon screw to turn the tides and goes for the calf crusher, but Nakamura gets to the rope quickly to break the hold. AJ hits another dragon screw and goes back to the calf crusher again, this time in the middle of the ring, and cranks down on it for some time. Nakamura eventually counters into an armbar. They trade kicks. AJ hits a knee to Nakamura's face as he is charging towards Styles that lays him out. Nakamura hits a running knee to the back of Styles' head, sort of like a Kinshasa, I guess, is what he was doing, further damaging the hurt knee of Nakamura. Nakamura collapses from his knee when attempting a Kinshasa, and AJ answers with one of his own. So let me reiterate there. He hits the sort of the Kinshasa move to the back of the head, sells the knee because it's already hurt from the calf crusher. Then he goes for another one from the other side of the ring, like a proper front face Kinshasa, and he collapses. Styles goes for a phenomenal forearm, but Nakamura grabs him onto his shoulders and lands a driver for a 2 count. I'm not sure what kind of driver it was, and I don't think the announcers were either, but it was a driver of some kind. Nakamura goes for a Kinshasa, but AJ moves out of the way, causing Shinsuke to go crashing into the turnbuckle knee first. AJ hits a phenomenal forearm, followed by a Styles Clash to finally put Nakamura away. At the end of the match, the two men bump fist exactly as they did in their last New Japan Pro Wrestling match 10 years ago. A symbolic ending to a fantastic years-long rivalry. I also wanted to add, Slick Vic, this is one of those matches that I would give more points for quality if I could. But of course, with the Mosley Gigawatt Scale, there's a potential 2 points for each category. So I can only give it 2. It definitely got 2. It would have got 10 in that category otherwise. Because this was just incredible work. This was one of the best matches I remember seeing in a long time, which is a running thing and a good thing. We've seen a lot of good matches here lately. But Slick Vic, I want to say I gave this match a 7 out of 10. Half for build, quality got a 2, memorable moments got a 1, emotion got a 1.5, result got a 2. And Slick Vic, your thoughts on this match and your pick for this match as well, sir.
Well, I thought this was the best match these two have had in the WWE by far. Because I thought their WrestleMania match from, was it 2018? Was underwhelming as hell.
Yeah.
It was also on a bloated card that was like 6 hours long. But anyways. And their subsequent matches involved them just taking turns nut-shotting each other and kicking each other in the dick. I don't know if you remember that. But
I do remember it now that you
stupid.
mention it. Yeah, it's stupid.
Anyways, this match was great. AJ looked very smooth. Nakamura's shots looked good. Both men got their shit in. Both looked great. I like the intensity AJ had when he locked in the calf crusher. That knee that Nakamura ate looked devastating, where he, like, you know, that movie you talked about where he slid into the knee. I thought he broke his jaw.
Yeah.
Nakamura countering the phenomenal forearm into the Nightwing. Awesome. So I thought this was really good. It's too early to say if it'll be my favorite match of the. It'll be my favorite match of the year, but it was damn good, man. I say go out of your way to watch this because this was the best match of the weekend for sure.
Definitely a contender for a top 5 of 2026 list, I would say.
I am keeping track. I've got a spreadsheet going and everything, man.
I seen your spreadsheet. Yeah,
I have shared it with you. I will add this to that list.
I will add it to mine as well. I haven't added it to mine yet, but I definitely will. Slick Vic, who'd you pick for the winner of this event?
He was I picked the phenomenal one, the one who might not get to see that too often anymore. But I chose AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so Vic, you've got 3 out of 4 right so far. All that's left is the final match of the night, the main event, the Fatal 4-Way match, number one contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Winner gets a shot at the title there. And Vic, if you would, please, bring us to that main event match, sir.
All right. Let's talk about it. Sammy, as expected, is super over in Montreal. Everyone starts fighting on the outside to start, and then there's a combination of one-on-one encounters, starting with Randy and Sami Zayn. They trade corner 10 punches. Trick comes in, throws Randy out, starts beating on Zayn. It's a big jumping neck breaker. Priest comes in, throws out Trick, but Sammy finally gets in some offense. Randy's back in and completely cleans house. Power slams, DDTs all around. Sammy hits a blue thunder bomb on Randy, but Trick interrupts a haluva kick with a kick of his own. At this point, the match just pretty much descends into chaos, as you'd expect from a Fatal 4-Way. I mean, I can just literally rattle off move after move after move, but I don't think we need to hear that. I will say though that we got a lot of vintage Randy Orton. We got an RKO to Sammy, and Trick tries to steal the pin every single time somebody hits a finisher. I thought that was a neat little touch. Sneaky devil. But then there's a haluva kick out of nowhere from Sami Zayn to Damian Priest to give Sammy the win as he advances to face Drew McIntyre at the Rumble. So, I might have just skimmed over this, but, I mean, literally, I'm just going to name big move after big move after big move for, was this like 18 minutes long, maybe, I think?
Yeah.
But, it was a fun match. I mean, this is where I wrote it, so many multi-man matches this weekend that I was starting to feel the fatigue. But still, I would consider this a fun match with lots of action, as you'd expect. But, won't win match of the year.
No.
But, wouldn't hurt to go check. If you're in the mood for some just, off-the-wall action nonstop, not a waste of time.
Yeah. Or if you want that feel-good moment of Sammy winning, obviously, in his hometown. So, there's that.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, I'll give you some thoughts on this. I thought this was about as predictable an outcome as you'll ever see in the WWE. Being in Montreal, the Rumble being in Saudi, I think Sami Zayn had to win this match. There was really no other option for them to get as big of a reaction in Montreal. And obviously they're going to get a big reaction at the Rumble for the championship match just when Sami is there and, in the match, not if he wins or not. There was really no other option. I'm not particularly a fan of Sami Zayn, as I've been vocal about in the past, but I will say that the right man won this. There was no other option for anybody else to win this going into the Rumble, considering everything else. So, also a question, does this mean that Sami will not be in the Rumble match itself? So if Sami gets a shot at the title, and we'll say that the Rumble match is the main event, as it normally is, it wasn't in 1998, but let's say that he goes for the title at Rumble, he loses. Does he then show up in the Rumble?
I really hope not. This has happened in the past. There was a Royal Rumble where Roman Reigns showed up after losing the world title match. So I really, really hope they don't do that, because I don't like when people pull double duty at the Rumble, and I'm also curious if Gunther is going to do this, because Gunther, I believe, did declare himself at one point to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, I think he's pulling double duty. I think he's going to be in the Rumble and the AJ.
I think it's stupid, but fine. I just think it's stupid, not fine. I'd rather have him have a match, and yeah, that's it.
Here's a good question for you, Vic. And of course, on our last episode, we did the Retro Royal Rumble review of the Royal Rumble 1998. I think everybody in that pay-per-view, with the exception of the tag team competitors, ended up showing up in the Rumble later.
Yeah.
You felt the same way when that happened, or did it sort of just, nostalgia goggles block that out?
Yeah, I think nostalgia goggles did definitely block that out, because, when I look back too, I think the roster was so thin. I think they had to. I mean, like I mentioned this when I was watching that match last week. how many baby faces were in that match besides Steve Austin?
Right. Yeah. Very
It was
few,
like maybe,
if any.
they had to put Mick Foley in it 3 times.
Yeah. Which gave us some
there's no
incredible episode art. So, we won't shit on that too hard.
But that's how much they lacked baby faces that night. They put Mick Foley, one of their top baby faces, in the match 3 times.
That's one of my favorite Rumble moments ever, though. Honestly,
I love how when he comes out the second time, he's Mankind, and JR's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
It's like, wait a minute. So,
oh man.
I know this was a predictable match, but who did I predict to win this match?
Yeah. Well, you guessed it, Slick Vic, Sami Zayn, and you are 4 for 4, my friend. In other words, that makes you gotta wait for the big part. Mr. Perfect, once again, you continue the streak into 2026, Slick Vic, with a perfect 4 out of 4 predictions. And I'll be honest with you, man. I thought most of them were fairly predictable for this one. But that first match, I don't know how you nailed that so well. That was very impressive. It got me thinking, something's going on with this guy. Something's going on with that crystal ball. Something is amiss here. But anyway,
I do remember telling you, like, man, that match is really hard to predict.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Nobody's gonna win that match. So let's say double disqualification.
And you called it, and that was a good call by you, Slick Vic. Congratulations, sir. You are 4 for 4 again. I'll give my score for this one. It was a 5.5 out of 10. So. Again, for the reasons that I mentioned before, and of course the build only got a half. There wasn't a very strong build for this. I think it was just set up like a few days before or whatever. Quality got a 2. Memorable moments got a 0. I don't really have any memorable moments from this. Emotion got a 1. Result got a 2. So, that's that. I felt like I was being generous too, but I didn't want to completely shit on this and make it seem like it was horrible, because it wasn't. But 5.5 out of 10, not bad. Not bad at all. And that takes us from Saturday night's main event. We now have our championship match for the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn will take on the undisputed WWE champion Drew McIntyre in Saudi Arabia. And that's it. That's the big takeaway from the show. We're going to be moving on to some Monday Night Raw, I believe, here in just a few moments. But first, I would like to take a brief pause for the cause. What about you, Vic?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll be right back. All right, and we're back from our brief commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, back on Wrestling with Power. We still got a few things to go here. If you're just joining us, we still have the Raw review from yesterday, January the 26th. We're also going to be getting Slick Vic's picks for the Royal Rumble this upcoming Saturday. And then we're going to be giving you guys some surprise entrant predictions from both of us, Slick Vic. So, I'll be covering Raw. Slick Vic, I want to say something, though. I want to bring something up here. And I mentioned this last episode. This weekend, or not this weekend. Why am I saying this weekend? Coming soon, as a matter of fact, this is March 26th through the 29th, is the Lexington Toy and Comic Con. Because I told you, I said Kane was going to be there, and I'm like, what would I have him sign? I have my championship for him to sign, right? So I actually went to the website to look up when the event was going to be. And guess who else is going to be at this event? I mean, there's several big names that are going to be here. But specific to wrestling, Mick Foley is also going to be at this event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and then some other people that I'd like to meet, the Black Ranger from the Power Rangers movie, the Asian guy that was like, I'm a frog, and he was pissed about it. He's going to be there. Cheech and Chong are going to be there. Giancarlo Esposito's going to be there. Love some Breaking Bad. Let's see, there's Mick. Mickey James is going to be there. Can't get her to sign my title. She never won it. Christopher Lloyd is going to be there.
Oh, well, man.
Yeah, 1.21 gigawatts.
Nice.
Himself. I better go see him because he's getting pretty old.
Yeah.
Who else? Deep Roy. Do you know Deep Roy?
No.
He's the mini superstar who played all of the Oompa Loompas in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, as well as Yoda from Star Wars.
Wait, when you say the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, are you referring to the one that came out last year or the one with Johnny Depp from 20 years ago?
The new one. I consider the new one the one with Johnny Depp. I don't consider the one from last year as anything.
Okay. I have not seen that one. I have not seen the one from last year. I've seen the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah, the Johnny Depp one. That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. All right.
He was every Oompa Loompa in that movie.
I do remember one actor playing them all.
Yep. Looking through the list here, I'm not sure I see anybody that has any kind of wrestling attachment, and I know some of the names that I already named do not, but there's still several spots to be announced. It looks like 7 more spots to be announced. Kane is going to be there Saturday and Sunday. Mick Foley's going to be there Friday through Sunday, and I think Christopher Lloyd is also going to be there all weekend. So,
Great Scott!
let me ask you, Slick Vic, and I know you've been to these things before. I've never actually been to anything like this, even though it's right up my alley. If this were coming to your town, let's say that you were an hour and a half away from this event, would you go to it?
Yeah, sure. I'm not a toy collector by any means, but I'd definitely go check it out. What's it called? It's the Lexington Toy and what?
Toy and Comic Con. So there's a lot of comic people there too.
Oh,
but it's a Comic Con. It's
for sure. Yeah, I would definitely go 100%. I've been to numerous ones, a number of one of these here in the Chicagoland area.
I've never been to one.
And I also did go to the one in San Diego, the big one, a couple years back. That was nice. But yeah, I'd say go. If you want to cosplay, go cosplay.
I don't know what I would cosplay as. I mean, I have my Jason outfit from Halloween where I was NES Jason. That might be cool, but there's no Jason people there, so it'd be odd for me to be like, hey, Doc Brown, come take a picture with me, and I act like I'm chopping your head off.
That's true.
But I figured, I would like to meet Doc Brown for sure, but I could at least go and get my title belt signed by Kane and Mick Foley.
Okay.
Even though I don't have the Attitude Era, the Big Eagle version, who cares?
Now I know you're probably going to want to gush about Back to the Future, which is what I would do too. But if the vibes are good, ask him about Hulk Hogan and Suburban Commando.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you freeze on me?
My mind did for a second. I've not watched that.
He did one of Hulk's movies in the early 90s called Suburban Commando. And he was also Uncle Fester in the Addams Family movies.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so don't bother asking about Suburban Commando. Talk about Addams Family and Back to the Future.
I will go tell him. I'll be like, listen, add us on Facebook, facebook.com/wrestlingwithpower. We do the gigawatts ratings. I'm gonna totally advertise. That would be so cool if Christopher Lloyd followed us. on
I
Facebook.
hear he's cool. He's a regular at all these conventions. I hear he's really cool. So I'm sure if you approach his table and pay the guy next to him the required fee, he will be a ball of joy to talk to.
Yeah. Got to have that green though. You got to have that paper. What if I wonder if I tell him all I've got's gigawatts. I wonder if he'll accept my
a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, he might say that and then send me off. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that with you. I thought it was interesting, and I might actually go. Like I said, I've never been to one of these things, so but it's right up my alley. It's everything that I like. I don't know why I've never been to one. I just haven't. Life gets busy, so.
Hell, I just like walking around sometimes and just taking it in. Just looking at you'll see a lot of vendors selling their wares. Just walking around, checking all the good stuff out, having a good time. Just take it all in.
All right, drink it in, man. That's what I might do. Yeah. So I'm pumped about that. All right, excited now, Slick Vic. Shall we talk about some Monday Night Raw?
Lock and load.
All right, so Monday Night Raw was January 26th, yesterday, in Toronto, Canada. AJ Styles comes out, talks about his match at the Rumble. He mentions wanting to be world champion again one last time. And then the world heavyweight champion himself comes out, CM Punk. He asks Styles why he is putting his career on the line against Gunther. And they have a little back and forth where AJ is sort of like, you don't think I can beat him, you know. And, Punk says if Styles loses Saturday, that means he and Styles will never get to go one-on-one. They get the crowd going for several minutes until finally Punk says it'll be AJ Styles versus CM Punk for the world title tonight. And we have what is our third World Heavyweight Championship title bout the first month in 2026, and the crowd is going crazy about this. Slick Vic, how'd you feel about this opening segment to Raw?
Good stuff by AJ. I'm not ready to say goodbye if this is indeed his last Raw. He mentioned how 2026 should be the year of AJ, and I'm like, I don't think WWE is going to give you the John Cena treatment, and that's okay. But yeah, but I did like when Punk came out. They played off the crowd really well. It almost seemed like Punk was repeatedly trying to look into the crowd like, yeah, shall we do it?
Yeah, because the crowd kept saying, fight tonight, fight tonight.
Yeah.
They were putting it off and putting it off. I thought of something earlier, and I'll go ahead and mention it right now while I'm thinking about it. Let's say that AJ Styles does lose at the Royal Rumble and has to retire. I've noticed in several segments over the past couple of weeks that he keeps mentioning, my career in WWE will be over. So some people are speculating, well, that means that he can go somewhere else and have a run. He's not going to go to AEW, okay? That's not going to happen. He's not going to go back to Japan. But what if he does lose to Gunther, has to retire from WWE, and shows up in TNA? And that's where he ends his career. That's where he has his 2026 throughout the rest of the year and ultimately ends it there.
I guess it would be kind of a full circle moment.
It would be, and it would make them, it would be a huge bump for their ratings and I think their popularity and would go a long way. So anyway, I had that thought earlier, yeah.
There's still ties between WWE and TNA at the moment. They have an
big
agreement.
Time. Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay. So we'll talk about the next match in the next few segments, Slick Vic, and then I'll get your thoughts. Because the next match was the first match of the show. I mentioned it earlier. 6-woman tag team match. We have Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan. And I was totally checked out for this match. Did not care, did not want to see it. I don't have any specific spots that stuck out to me at this point. I was absolutely burnt out on the multiple person matches, and I just did not care. I'm sorry, but I didn't. You have a lot of main eventers in this. Actually, all of these gals are main eventers. They're at the very top echelon of the women's division, especially on Raw. It doesn't get any bigger than some of these names, but I want to see one-on-one. I want to see big stakes. I don't want to see random match that they throw all of them in together so that they can each have a 1.5-minute section of time for the people to see them. I don't like it. I'm over it. But ultimately, we see Rhea Ripley pin Roxanne Perez after hitting the Riptide on her for the win. Vaquer may have another spot in the match. Vaquer may have re-injured her leg after hitting a crossbody to Raquel on the outside. So the announcers point that out. She hits a crossbody. She favors the leg. May have re-injured it. Maybe storyline. Who knows? But that was the two big takeaways from this, I think. The babyfaces won. Rhea wins again. You know, it's just how it goes. And maybe our world champion's leg is in jeopardy. Then we have a backstage segment where Finn Balor returns the post-match respect Punk gave him last week by telling him thank you. Punk thanks him in return and asks Balor what he wants his legacy to be. He suggests ditching the Judgment Day and entering the Royal Rumble. And of course, Slick Vic, after that excellent match between Punk and Balor that we saw in Ireland, we were all for it. We were wanting to see a Balor face turn, ready for it. This segment looks like he's thinking about it. He's leaning towards it. We might be getting it. Awesome. I'm here for it. After that, we get an in-ring segment where the Vision come out. Heyman puts over the Vision members, as always. Then shows a couple of videos from the past few weeks where Adam Pearce, one, put his hands on Braun Breaker first, and second, Pearce allegedly making sure the brass knuckles made it into the hands of Rey Mysterio. I remember our show last week where I said, I don't know how Rey Mysterio got those brass knuckles. I think Pearce dropped them and he picked them up. I don't remember him specifically handing them or making sure that Rey got them. But apparently that was one of the videos and one of the reasons that Paul Heyman was coming down on Pearce. Heyman then introduces Adam Pearce, who comes down to the ring. Pearce apologizes to Braun Breaker and tells him that he's reinstated, and he will also be in the Royal Rumble, as well as all members of the Vision. Pearce also makes the match of Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio, and it looks like it's happening right now. But before we move on, Vic, your thoughts on these last few segments and the match, the 6-women tag match.
Well, for the 6-women tag, lots of screaming. Those back elbows by Raquel look bad. Is Roxanne the workhorse of the division? She's like on a match every single week. Stephanie moves well. It's great to see her back in a match. We haven't seen her in a while. Io's Shote uppercuts look weak. They no longer deserve to be called Shoryukens. And the match is okay, but I got to dock it a few points for No Devil's Kiss. Balor turning babyface. I'm in. Hope I was really pumped when I saw that promo. And Triple H is on the cover of one of the of 2K26. I'm sorry, I had to put that in there. I was like, come on, really? Triple H is going to be on one of the covers?
And the thing about that, Slick Vic, I wish I had saved this and sent it to you, but it was a meme where it had the picture of the cover of 2K26 and a picture of the actual picture that they took that Triple H photo from, where they like AI'd his body to look better. And it was like AI my body to make my pecs look less deflated and all this. It was funny. I know I'm not doing it justice, but it was hilarious. So yeah, they've AI'd that up to the max. But yes, the King of Kings.
I did see one where, the Attitude Era one where it shows a bunch of heads, like a bunch of people, a bunch of people's faces.
Yeah, they don't look right there.
I was going to say, I saw one where it was all just Triple H's heads.
Oh, really? Well,
it's like...
I'll mention they don't look right. It literally looks like not even good AI, but like bad AI when it messes with their eyes. Their eyes look kind of screwed up in it. I haven't seen the full Triple H head one though.
The Vision promo was freaking good. Paul Heyman, awesome. He was really, really good here. It goes without saying. I know I say it all the time, but hey, you know, Paul Heyman is Bobby Heenan level good. Like, he is that damn good at what he does.
That's high praise.
Very high praise. But yes, I'm telling you, if there is a Mount Rushmore of managers, there's three easy spots. In my opinion. This is just Slick Vic's pick for Mount Rushmore. We got Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, and Paul Heyman. Those are the big three, the three wise men.
I can't argue with that at all. Yeah.
Now,
I don't think anybody could.
A fourth one is kind of hard to pick. It's kind of that's kind of going to depend on like which promotion you were a fan of or which era you grew up in. Because I can make the case for Jimmy Hart because he managed like 1 million people. The megaphone was memorable. There's Sherry Martel. She was also great, but I'm getting sidetracked here. Anywho, as I was saying, the Vision promo was excellent. I got a question for you. Do you think they should reference WWE in storylines? I'm leaning towards no. Like Paul Heyman's like, I don't care what they say on WWE and Real. What I'm saying right now is not bullshit or whatever.
I don't think they should, and I don't think that they should even advertise on Real on the weekly shows. I mentioned that last week or the week before. I don't think that they should advertise that whatsoever because it completely goes against what's going on here. Because if you advertise it, then people are going to go to it, and like they know it's already predetermined or whatever, but like that show is so in-depth that it just immediately is going to take away from the next time that person goes and watches Raw or SmackDown.
I don't have a problem with them promoting it, but I think the way Paul Heyman used it in the promo was like, what? Like you're saying that's bullshit, but what you're saying here is real or whatever, and I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you.
And did you cover the Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory match yet?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. That's where we left off. I apologize. There's a lot to cover in so little time.
All right, I'll skim through it really quick because I really don't have many notes on that one either. I mean, this Raw was really kind of a bomb for me. Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. And I put over Rey Mysterio last week. If you want to hear me put over Rey Mysterio, go listen to episode 24. I put over Rey Mysterio big time in the match that he had that we covered last week. But here, I did not enjoy this match. I didn't think that it was anything special. It really, I was watching it and I was like, there's a clear distinction between matches like this that are put together and matches like AJ versus Shinsuke that are put together, where they go all out, where they put it all on the line, where they really go out there and say, we're going to have a memorable fucking match that people are going to think about for years and they're going to come back and watch. And then we have all of this shovelware, and this was just a shovelware match. Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. Theory beats Mysterio with the stomp off a distraction by the Vision. That's how it ended. The Vision beat down Penta and Dragon Lee post-match. And that's how it went. That was the entire point of the match. My question for this match, why is Theory still using the stomp as his finisher?
Probably to set up a feud with him and Rollins when Rollins comes back.
That could be the only reason.
We should have talked about this in the breaking news section. Did you see that Ray got hurt this match?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know. Oh, you mentioned, you said breaking news. Rey Mysterio's hurt. What? Yeah, I did see that.
Ray got hurt. Ray got hurt this match, which I feel like that definitely harmed the quality of this match. And because I have it in my nose, I thought the ending felt really spontaneous because, there's some fighting and everyone on the outside got in on the chicanery, and then a stomp ends the match. Yeah. And I didn't catch it right then and there, but I went back and when I looked at it again, I'm like, oh yeah, Ray's hurt. The ref even threw up the X.
Do you remember a few weeks back whenever Rey Mysterio was in the back and he's like, I don't care if I have to go through every member of the Vision or whatever. I'm going to eventually, or every member of the Judgment Day, I'm going to get to Dom, right? So I feel like they were sort of keeping Ray around, keeping him fresh, because they were building to another feud with his son, which we've already been there. I don't know why they feel the need to do it again, but I hope that it doesn't interfere with those plans, because I would like to see that feud. Even though I say, I don't know why they're doing it again, I'm here for it. You know, Dom's hurt, now Ray's hurt. You know, and that was my first thought when I saw that. I hope that it doesn't interfere with that program that could be coming up.
Well,
moving on.
I'm worried for Ray's WrestleMania tie-in.
I'm worried for Ray. Ray is a national treasure, and I put him over big last week. Again, ladies and gentlemen, go watch, listen to episode 24. Great episode. We review the Royal Rumble for 1998, but there's a lot of good content in that episode. I was actually listening to it myself today, and I put Ray over big time because he is timeless. He is one of the best wrestlers in the game. It's as clear now as it was a decade ago, and he's fantastic. And so, well wishes to Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Moving on, we have a pre-recorded promo. This is a Natalya promo, where she says Maxine failed her. Says she is coming for Becky after she's done with Maxine. She ends the promo with, Natalya elevates, but Natty decimates. My notes? We'll see. I wouldn't mind seeing Natty finally get her long-awaited flowers and have her run with the IC title, but Natty is, for years and years and years, been one of these people who's like, I'm a legend, I'm one of the best in the business, but all she does is get beat. And I'm personally sick of it, because I used to be a big fan of Natty, and I'm still a big fan of Natty. And I want to see her tear some people's asses for a while, so hopefully we're getting that. And I do want to mention Slick Vic as well. I called this. I said this last week. I'm like, this is why the heel turn happened. She trained her, and she failed, and now she's pissed about it. That's exactly why this was. We get a little segment after that. Roman Reigns emails in his declaration for the Royal Rumble, which Slick Vic already covered on SmackDown, and I skimmed over that on accident. Then we have a pre-recorded interview. Michael Cole interviews Gunther. Gunther says he had nothing to gain by just beating AJ again, but now he has something to gain by beating AJ for his career. Gunther says he's sick and tired of all these old-timers sticking around way too long. And then he sort of insinuates that Michael Cole is also an old-timer, and he might just kick him out of his chair and end his career. But he wants him to stick around to be able to call the match, to be able to say AJ Styles' career is over. We get another backstage segment after this. Finn Balor shows up, tells Adam Pearce he wants in the Royal Rumble, but Pearce says the Royal Rumble's full. Liv Morgan, standing by, questions Finn about showing CM Punk respect. She says that the Judgment Day is his family, but Finn says it's not that simple and he needs to think about things. Before we move on to the next match, Slick Vic, your thoughts on any of these promos, interviews, segments?
The Natalya video promo did nothing for me. Just going to say that. Raquel storming the back looking for Stephanie was hilarious. Roman Reigns returning at the Rumble. Okay. Avengers. I already talked about that. Gunther promo. Good stuff. Gunther does a good job going from a slimy piece of shit to a cold-hearted bastard. Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
All right. Good stuff. Next up's a match. It's a fatal four-way tag team match, for God's sakes. Number one contender for the World Tag Team Championships. I put at the Royal Rumble, but I don't know if that was confirmed. Is that confirmed? I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay. So it's just to determine who the...
I believe it's going to be for next Monday.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. American Made versus Los Americanos, made up of Rayo and Bravo. El Grande was nowhere to be found in this. Versus Alpha Academy, Otis and Akira Tozawa. Versus The New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Alright, so notes on this match. Thought this was impressive stuff. by American Made. Where the hell have they been? Where the hell has American Made been for the last, 4 months?
American Made, is that, you mean American Alpha?
No, American Made.
Is it the Creed brothers?
Yes, the Creed brothers.
Okay.
I don't know their names.
Yeah.
They've not been here. All of a sudden they show up in this match, and when they showed up in this match, I remembered these guys are good, and they were really good in this match. But yeah, I wondered. I'm like, where the hell have they been? So Akira Tozawa shined a lot in this one, which was unusual. It was more than maybe he ever has shined in his long WWE tenure. We know why by the end of the match. Ultimately, it comes down to American Made and Alpha Academy in the ring, where Tozawa hits a senton on one of the Creed brothers and picks up the win. So it's going to be Alpha Academy challenging for the World Tag Team Championships. Any thoughts on this match, Slick Vic?
You know, you said this earlier, and this is when I reached my breaking point. I was so fatigued and burnt out by all the multi-man matches where I'm just kind of like, you know, I was losing focus.
Yeah.
But that top rope senton at the end by Akira Tozawa he got some really good height on that one.
He landed on him with his entire body, which isn't much. He's a very little guy, but man, he literally hit it. I will say, Slick Vic, I feel you, and I hit that breaking point way before you did. But good takeaway from this match: Akira Tozawa and Otis getting their flowers as a tag team, and American Made, obviously, they're great. They're something to watch. They're very, very, very good in the ring, and I hope we get to see more of them. Several segments follow this, Slick Vic. Becky Lynch is backstage. She says the only way Natty gets a shot at her title is by winning the Rumble, but that will be impossible because she is entering and winning the Rumble herself. Asuka and Kairi show up. Becky says she's beaten Asuka several times. I think we already knew this, but Asuka mentions she will be in the Rumble as well. Question: why would Natty win the Rumble and go for the IC title? I'll let you answer that in a few moments, Slick Vic. We have another backstage segment. Adam Pearce makes it official next week. Stephanie Vaquer will defend the Women's World Championship against Raquel Rodriguez. And then we have our main event. Before we move on to the main event, Slick Vic, any thoughts on these last couple of segments?
Becky playing off Kairi was, got a chuckle out of me, but, I think the whole, why would anybody want to challenge the Intercontinental Champion is kind of dumb.
Yeah. Why would somebody win the entire Royal Rumble and challenge for the Intercontinental belt?
Right. Not gonna happen. Hey, we haven't had a Stephanie Vaquer match in a while, so that's cool. It'll be a Philadelphia street fight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know what. Never mind. It's always
maybe there's like
cheesesteak sandwiches.
Carts of cheesesteaks lined up around ringside, and they're just going to throw them at each other.
I love a good Philly cheesesteak sandwich. It's good stuff.
I wish I was in that match. I'd catch one right in the jaw.
All right. That's about it, right? There's the Vision backstage. Logan Paul wants everyone to support Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I skimmed over that. That was silly.
Yeah.
It should have been him, which it was expected for him to stand up and be like, I think the winner of the Rumble should be me, because they're backstage, they're plotting this out. They're like, we're all in the Rumble, so we should make sure one person wins it. And then he stands up, and you think he's going to say, and it should be me. But then he says, and it should be Braun Breaker. And it's like a deflated whoopee cushion. Like, okay, whatever. So that's why I didn't even note it. Let's move on to the main event, Slick Vic. About to wrap this Raw up. World Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles taking on CM Punk, the World Champion. All right. Lots of slow-paced grappling in the early going here. AJ tosses Punk outside the ring, hits a running kick from the apron right into a commercial break. Back from the break, Punk called for the GTS, but instead hits a Shining Wizard and gets a 2 count out of it. Some more back and forth, then AJ counters the GTS attempt into the Ushiguroshi. I got in parentheses, that shoulders knee breaker to knee move that he does. AJ still can't keep the advantage as Punk counters a superplex attempt and follows through with the shittiest elbow drop ever. More back and forth. AJ attempts a running knee to Punk outside the ring, but Punk counters into a GTS. Both men manage to get back in the ring just before a 10 count. Styles hits a Styles Clash, but Punk kicks out at 2. The two men fight trying to get the other in position for their finisher, but both are spent. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Finn Balor shows up and hits a drop kick to Punk with AJ on his shoulders, causing the disqualification. After the match, Balor continues to attack Punk outside and then inside the ring. He hits 3 coup de grace on Punk and stands over him as the show ends. So, your winner by disqualification, CM Punk. Might as well throw this match in the garbage. This was not a good match, Slick Vic, I don't think. After seeing AJ versus Shinsuke and the perfection that it was, you would think getting AJ versus CM Punk for the first time ever would have been great. It wasn't. It just wasn't good. Not a good ending, not a good match. Your thoughts, sir?
Man, at the top of the show when they announced this match, I was hyped. I was really excited. I didn't need to see a title change. I just wanted to see a good match. And what the hell happened?
Like, exactly.
on paper, this should be an excellent match. And Punk's coming off some really good matches with LeBron Breaker and Finn Balor, and now he's wrestling AJ Styles. How did this? This was just boring.
It went way south.
This was just It was boring. It was sluggish. I did not like this. I was also very disappointed with the ending because, you and I were talking about we wanted a babyface turn for Balor, and looks like we're not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's one of the, okay, like I'm not mad because they're not booking it the way I would have booked it. I'm mad because I think it just sucked. And
exactly, yeah.
I think it sucked. I was not happy with it.
The thing is, like, and you're right about this, Vic, and I think that we speak for a large number of people when we say that Punk versus Balor match was excellent, and I think a good part of what made it great was seeing Finn Balor back in this main event scene and proving why he belongs in this main event scene. You don't get that out of heel Balor. You just don't. There's some people that I think are better suited as a heel, that will go further as a heel, that will be more accepted as a heel. Same goes for, people that will be more accepted as a face. And I think Balor is that character who is going to be more accepted as really neither. More like an anti-hero. More like, he's a heel, but he's sort of a Stone Cold Steve Austin type of heel. Like, he's going to break out the demon and kick your ass if he needs to, but he's still not a heel. And we thought we were getting it, and we didn't get it on top of a match that should have been great that wasn't. So it was a very anticlimactic, very disappointing end to Raw. Unfortunately. Tisk. Well, Slick Vic, there's your Raw review, ladies and gentlemen. There's your Raw review. We move on now to some Slick Vic's picks for the Royal Rumble 2026. It's coming up this weekend, this Saturday, live from Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure anybody in the United States is going to be watching it live. Maybe a few people will. I won't be. I'll definitely be watching it after the fact, because in the Americas, it is going live, I think, at 2 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Time, yep.
And then 11 Pacific. They never include Central. Do you feel left out because they never include Central Time?
Yeah. All my life, I always like, okay, they're going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern time. That means I got to start at 8.
Yeah, you have to sit and math it in your head.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I'm like, is that when the actual show starts, or is it the pre-show?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
And then they talked. They actually cleared it up later on in the night. Yeah, I think the pre-show starts at, I think 12 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the pre-show. Fuck that.
No, I'm not gonna watch it. But I might watch this live. I might actually watch this live. I might wake up and go downstairs and be like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. That's not too bad considering it's probably only going to be like what, a 3-hour event. I don't think it's going to be a 4-hour endeavor. So yeah, I might actually tune in, but chances are I'm going to be at least on an hour delay. So, Slick Vic, we have the Royal Rumble 2026 card so far, and I think it's pretty much full. How many matches do we got on that card? 4 matches. So 1 being the Rumble match itself. We got the world title match and a couple others. So Slick Vic, why don't you break out the crystal ball real quick, give it one last good rubbing, and we'll find out what your picks are here for the Royal Rumble 2026. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready. Slick Vic, take it away.
All right, I'm going to start with the singles matches first. Oh, boy. AJ Styles versus Gunther in a career-threatening match. If Styles loses, he will be forced to retire. It pains me to say this, but I'm picking Gunther to win. You know what? I hope I'm wrong, but this is what I foresee to be the actual way they're going to go.
Okay.
So, Gunther. Second, for the undisputed WWE champion, we have Drew McIntyre. Championship, we have Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. I don't think they're going to take the belt off Drew on his first title defense. I know, Sami has been pulling for his big moment to be world champion. It's not going to be this Saturday. I'm predicting Drew McIntyre retains the belt. Lock that in.
Agreed.
All right, now the women's Royal Rumble match. Okay, you and I talked about this off the air. We are going to have 3. I get 3 choices.
Yes, and yeah, let me go ahead and mention that as far as the Royal Rumble matches are concerned, because there are so many possibilities that could happen, I think it's only fair to give Slick Vic 3 potential winners for the women's match and 3 potential winners for the men's match, and if he hits on any of those 3, then he gets it. So, 3 for the women, 3 for the men.
All right, so for the women, I am picking Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and, I was really looking into who to pick for the third one. And here's my reasoning. Well, let me just give you the answer first, because I am going to go with Tiffany Stratton. The reason I choose these women is because I feel like a lot of the women in this match, a lot of main event women are in this match, but they're all doing tag team stuff right now, and I would prefer they stayed in the tag team division for the time being. Like, for example, our tag team champions are Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Keep them as a tag team going into WrestleMania. Same with Charlotte and Alexa, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, Julia and Kiana. Julia's has already got a belt. what's it called? Same thing with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is not in the tag team, but she's the Intercontinental Champion. I don't see her winning.
Right.
So I'm mostly leaning towards my first two choices, and if I had to pick a third one, I'm going to say Tiffany Stratton, who's not announced, but I think she'll make her return. So, spoiler alert for one of my returning entrances.
All right. Well, spoiler alert. I didn't pick any surprise entrances for the women. Maybe I need to do that in the meantime. I didn't even think about that.
Well, do you think Bianca Belair has a good chance of winning? Because that would be a returning entrant.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's definitely a surprise entrant. But I don't know about winning, but because I feel like if she returned and won, that would be a little bit expected. Like, if you see her come out, you're like, oh, she's winning it. You know, it's... Come on. I mean, I would rather see a surprise. Actually, and we talked about this beforehand, Jordan Grace is in the Women's Rumble. That's my winner. That's who I'm picking for the winner. So, despite anything else, that's who's winning it.
Okay. As for the men, all right, so my choices. This was a lot harder to pick than the women. But anyways, I've got Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns, and my dark horse pick, Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
Do you happen to... What about you? I want to hear what you think. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but
no, I
you've
don't.
got you've got other things.
Well, I have an N64 controller here, so I mean that's one thing. To win the men's rumble, I keep going back to Roman. Even though I don't necessarily think that he needs to win, I keep going back to him because I think that Roman winning the Rumble would be an interesting turn of events for either of the two championships. If he was to win it and go for the World Heavyweight title, that would be interesting. If he was to go after whoever is the undisputed WWE champion, which will likely be Drew McIntyre still going into WrestleMania, that would be interesting as well. I don't really have any other person that stands out to me as a potential winner. So, I'll say Roman.
Okay. Now, let me ask you an odd question. Do you think the Saudi officials or whoever who are organizing this event have any say in the creative?
I don't think so. I think that the Saudis, the Saudis obviously, and if you listen to different podcasts, you will know that the Saudis are very vocal about who they would like to see at their events, even if that person has been dead for 10 years.
I was about to say.
But I don't think that they really have any particular say-so, but obviously they're throwing so much money the WWE's way that they're going to try to make it happen for them as best they can. So, if you want to have some surprise entrants from the Ruthless Aggression era that are still living, or the Attitude Era that are still living, that the Saudis are, can throw $10 million at, sure, maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin shows up. Who knows? That type of thing. But I don't think they have specific creative control over anything.
Okay. Because I would think if they did have any influence on the creative, they would probably want somebody like a Roman Reigns to win it because he's such a big star.
Yeah.
But
or the Iron Sheik.
Let me tell you something, Baba. You put me in the Rumble, I will win. Okay, these 29 other jabronis, they don't know anything about the Rumble. I break their back.
I break Roman Reigns' back. I put him in the camel clutch. Can you imagine the pop if, well, he's dead, but can you imagine the pop if he wasn't dead and Iron Sheik came out at the Rumble?
That stupid Hollywood jabroni blonde Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I put him in camel clutch. I would break his legs like Vernianya want me to.
Yeah. Brian Blair. Put Brian Blair in the Rumble. No.
Potato the turkey.
Yeah.
All right. So those are Slick Vic's pick. Lock them in. Mosley.
They're locked and
right.
loaded. Slick Vic, I don't know. I feel a little bit uncertain about these picks, but by God, you've been so perfect so far, it's hard to go against you. We got a couple of them. Well, we got one more segment to finish this episode out. And it continues with our Royal Rumble celebrations. And that is where Slick Vic and I are going to pick 3 surprise entrants to show up at the Royal Rumble. Now, when we say surprise entrants, these are people that are not a part of the active roster currently. It could be somebody on the injured list. It could be somebody who hasn't even been contracted by the WWE in years. It could be a legend. It could be anybody that is not obviously going to be there. And Slick Vic, like I said, I don't have anybody for the women. I only have the men's Rumble. So if you want to go ahead and give your 3 surprise entrants for this year's Royal Rumble, take it away.
Now I got a little trigger happy with this. I wrote down a whole bunch of names, but I'll speed run through these. All right. So for the women, Bianca Belair is obviously, I think she's going to be in it and win it. Tiffany Stratton. I think from NXT, Sol Ruka will be there.
Okay.
AJ Lee, I think will be there. And here's a I don't want to say hot take. Here's a shot in the dark. Paige.
Okay. Paige, that would be a great one. Yeah, for sure.
As for the men, I'll tell you go first for the men.
You want me to go first for the men?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Can I take a brief pause really quick, Slick Vic, and I'll be right back. Entertain the people while I'm gone. I have to take an impromptu piss break. I cut this out of the last episode. I'm probably going to cut it out of this one, but I'll be right back.
All right. So we got the Rumble 2026. You know, my favorite Rumble is probably the 1992 Rumble. I've gone back and watched. I grew up, I had that in a VHS tape. I watched that damn thing a million trillion freaking times. I still laugh my ass off at Bobby Heenan's commentary. My favorite part is when Roddy Piper comes in, because Flair has cleared house, or I should say, he's in the ring by himself at like the halfway point. He does his little Flair flop, and then he falls to the ground. The countdown hits, and it's Roddy Piper who comes in. So Roddy is just taking it to Flair, puts him in the sleeper hold. The countdown hits again. It's Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake's a heel here at this point. Jake doesn't go for the offense. He sits in the corner and motions to Roddy, go ahead, continue, carry on. And that's what happens. Then what happens is Bobby Heenan's what's it called? Or I should say Jake finally grabs a hold of Roddy. And I'm sorry, Jake grabs a hold of Ric Flair and looks like he's going to put him in the DDT. But instead, Roddy Piper makes the save. And Bobby Heenan and Kime's like, I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, Roddy. It's not a skirt, it's a kilt. Then as soon as Roddy recovers, he just beats up both men. And Bobby immediately turns back saying, you no good skirt wearing freak. It's not a kilt, it's a skirt. It's good stuff. Yeah. Fun times. That 92 Rumble was a blast. All the way down to the end, though. The ending is hilarious, though, because what happens is it's down to Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and Sid Justice. And what happens? Hulk's trying to eliminate Ric Flair, but Sid throws Hogan out. The crowd erupts into it was a large pop when it happened. And then Hogan, what does he do? That that sore loser that he is, he grabs Sid's hand and pulls him in, and so then Ric Flair is able to just sneak up behind and toss Sid out to win the Rumble and go on and cut one of the best promos of his career when he says, "With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life." And he goes on in there, and Mean Gene tells the guy in the corner to put that cigarette out. Very, very memorable stuff.
Woo!
Welcome back.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Slick Vic. Good stuff, man. Thanks for that. Thanks for covering for me there, bud. I
Yeah.
Look. I went and pissed during the last break, but it hit me like a ton of bricks, so I had to go. I'm sorry. I was literally considering pissing in a bottle. Sitting here, I was digging a bottle out of the trash, and I was like, that would be very unnecessary. So, anyway, we were talking about the 3 surprise entrants, the predictions. You gave your surprise entrants for the women, and now we're on to the men's match. My 3 picks. Number 1 is Chris Jericho, and I think that's a given. I think that's probably on your list as well, and I think that's probably on a lot of people's list. Number 2, Kevin Owens. Now, I don't know Kevin Owens' status right now. I know he's been out for a while. He's been injured for a while. But I could totally see him coming back, especially if Jericho is in it. I would like to see him and Jericho sort of relive that, best friend angle that they had from a few years ago, which was like the best thing on Raw during the time that it happened. And number 3, Mr. Kennedy. Particularly because Mr. Kennedy recently said that he would be open to a return to the WWE. And why not? Why not have Mr. Kennedy out of there? He was one of the most entertaining people from the era that he was in. He's a great in-ring performer. Bring him back. Let him go into the Hall of Fame. Let him have one last run. Let him do his thing. He's very entertaining, and I would love to see it, and I hope it happens. So that's my top 3 picks. To reiterate, Jericho, Kevin Owens, Mr. Kennedy.
When you said Mr., I thought you were going to say somebody else, because I think the Mr. I'm thinking of is actually going to be in this match. He's from AAA. It's Mr. Iguana.
Is that one of your surprise entrants?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
I think they got to have, I don't have to, but I think it'd be good. Like, it makes sense to have some AAA representation now that WWE owns it. Who's the most popular wrestler?
That's a good point.
Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Good pick. For sure.
Now, yeah, it's been Chris Jericho for a while, but now I'm having second thoughts. I don't know. I'm still saying I'm still picking Chris Jericho, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't show up anymore.
So we talked about it, how the Saudis are often asking for names of the past to show up.
Yeah.
Would it not be a huge pop for that Saudi crowd for Chris Jericho to come out?
I hope so. I think so, for sure. Saudi Arabia is not exactly a smart wrestling crowd. When I say smart, I mean, they're not like not reading newsletters and forums and Reddit posts.
The Saudis are, to give a little respect here, the Saudis are true blood fans. They are fans of the WWE. They love it. They love everything about it. They're not smart. They're not reading into it and dissecting it and shitting on half of it like a lot of us do. They love it. So, yeah.
Okay, so my third pick was, here's what, I did have a third pick, but they announced yesterday on Raw that this person's going to be in it, so it's not a surprise anymore. It's Obafemi.
I knew that was going to be one of your picks. You gotta strike that from the record, though. Give us another pick.
I've got 2 of them. Well,
you got 2. Okay, let's go.
I've got a bunch, but anyways, Chad Gable or Kevin Owens is on my list.
Okay, Chad Gable's a good one. Yeah, I didn't even think about him.
Now, Dominic Mysterio has been gone for a while.
Yeah,
he might make his comeback. Recently, there's been a lot of talk recently about a defection from AEW in the form of Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah. What's his WWE name going to be? I read it. Royce Keys.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, I believe that is the correct name.
Mm-hmm.
What about Brock Lesnar? Do you think he'll make an appearance?
I think it's definitely possible. I wouldn't consider that a surprise if he showed up, because Brock's one of these guys that leaves and then he comes back and after a long time. So I can see Brock coming back maybe mid-Rumble and clearing the ring. Maybe there's like 10 guys in the ring and Brock comes by and clears them all out. But I wouldn't consider that a surprise entrant necessarily.
Okay. And how do you feel? Here's the thing. The next pick I have falls under two categories because I've got Joe Hendry.
Ooh.
Now, they did the gag last year. I don't think they should recycle it and do it again. So I would be mad if Joe Hendry's there, but I feel like they've done that already. And Joe Hendry ended up having a fantastic year last year, so don't overexpose him just yet.
Right.
It's weird.
Okay.
I don't think that'll overexpose him, but I just think I don't want them to reuse the same joke that they used last year.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then here's the other thing, because Joe Hendry last year was a TNA wrestler. I have in my spot TNA wrestler with a question mark. Do you think any TNA wrestlers will make an appearance? I can't really name that many. There's Kazarian. There's
yeah, but you got to think maybe Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
AKA whatever his real name is.
Nick Nemeth.
Nick Nemeth, yeah.
Who's TNA world champion? The current
You know
TNA
what I would
world
like
champion.
to see? You say TNA, but this was a WWE guy, and I would love it if this guy would come out, but I don't think he will, because I don't, he's a producer now, but Bobby Roode. How awesome would it be to hear glorious?
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
he's standing up there.
Fantastic.
That guy never got his flowers in WWE, so.
So yeah, maybe I just read Mike Santana is the current TNA champion. Last year, Joe Hendry was the champion, and he made the appearance.
Santana just won it recently, I believe. Actually, on their AMC premiere, I think is when he won it, if I'm not mistaken.
Right now, there is no current NXT world champion because Oba Femi just relinquished it and jumped ship.
We talked about that. That sucked.
So I don't know, maybe Ricky Saints or. I mean, if Oba Femi's going to be there, there's no need to have a Ricky Saints or even any. I think Oba Femi can cover the NXT quota.
Well, maybe have Ricky Saints out there to counter Oba Femi, and then see them two fight a little bit in the ring. I could see that happening.
Okay.
But they showed off the previews there on Raw, and I noticed as it was going through the men's and the women's Rumble match, there were 4 sets of 4. So there were 16 wrestlers confirmed
16
for... Woo! There were 16 wrestlers confirmed for each of the 2 Rumble matches, which leaves basically an entire half of the Rumble entrance open. So there's room for them.
But there's not enough room for Finn Balor?
Apparently not. Apparently not.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the picks. And then some.
You got some more?
No, that was all of them. You wanted 3, I gave you like 8 of them.
You got more than 8?
No,
Let's hear your full list. Let's hear your full list. Go ahead, Vic.
Jericho, Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dominic Mysterio, Mr. Iguana, Chad Gable, Kevin Owens, Joe Hendry, and a TNA wrestler. Which, Mike Santana maybe.
Okay. All right, well, good call. I like that. This should be a good Rumble to watch. I encourage everybody to watch the Royal Rumble happening this weekend. Again, it goes live at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11, and of course 1 Central, 11 Pacific, in the United States, because that's what they do nowadays, and WWE is this global brand, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's it, Slick Vic. We've got the full Monty here, and if I can give the people a little bit of something to know that the show is ending, we give them the Undertaker's bell. What if the Undertaker shows up at the Royal Rumble? That's a surprise entrance right there.
It'll be a cold day in hell.
If he shows up in Tombstone's Michelle McCool and throws her over the top rope. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Royal Rumble surprise entrance predictions, and that is the end of the show, as the bell indicates. And again, a lot of wrestling going on this week. I do want to mention real quick, Slick Vic, while I'm thinking about it. We are well aware that WWE Unreal debuted Season 2 a week or two ago. We haven't talked about it here on the show, specifically because there's a lot going on. That's number one. We're right in the middle of Rumble season. You know, we got Slick Vic's picks going on. We've got Saturday night's main event. We got picks for that. We got the ratings for that. Next week, we're going to have the review of the Rumble. We did the Retro Rumble review last week. So there's been a lot going on here at Wrestling with Power that we just prioritize over WWE Unreal, but we are well aware that Season 2 is out. I'm also well aware that we did not really review or talk much about Season 1. We won't be going back and talking about Season 1. I'm sure everybody has already watched that wants to. But seeing as how Season 2 just came out during Rumble season, we're too busy to really deal with it right at the moment. As a matter of fact, I've watched one episode of Unreal Season 2 so far. So, but we will be getting around to that. Me and Slick Vic have talked about it. We're going to be reviewing it once things cool down. Maybe here in the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, where we can sort of get a break and have an episode where we don't have so much other stuff to talk about. We'll talk about some WWE Unreal. But until then, make sure you go out and watch it. It's on Netflix. If you want some insider knowledge and all of that good stuff on the happenings of WWE and how things go down, it's a good show. It's a good show. I enjoy it. I don't think they should be talking about it during Raw and SmackDown, but in an entity of itself, apart from that, I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed shoot interviews. I know Vic has as well. I've spent a lot of time listening to shoot interviews, so I'm not going to shit on Unreal like some other people have. And we will be talking about it right here on the show. But that's going to be coming in the next few weeks. But that about wraps up our episode number 25 here at Wrestling with Power. And I would like to say that thank you all for sharing and commenting and giving us your thoughts. We've got several pieces of feedback from you guys since the last episode. A lot of people have watched the last episode, which we definitely appreciate. And we're going to be just continuing to do the same thing we do. I hope that you guys stay powerful, as is usually my sign-off here at Wrestling with Power. But I'm going to let Slick Vic end it for us today. Slick Vic, if you will.
Like Mosley said, thank you for listening. Stick around for our review for the Royal Rumble next week. And Mosley, tell them where they can hear us.
Oh, well, you can hear us on Facebook.com/WrestlingWithPower, where we are live right now. Actually, we've been going live for the past couple of weeks on Facebook. Over on YouTube, that is where our video and audio go up. Of course, you can watch us sitting here. We're in real time. We're not doing this spur of the moment and like cutting and pasting it all together. We're really here with you guys. And so those videos go up on YouTube every single week. it might take me 2 or 3 days to actually get it edited and put up and to par for you guys, because I want it to be perfect, and I'm always, nitpicking at everything. But youtube.com/@wrestlingwithpower. And then over on Spotify, of course, if you're out in your daily life, you're riding around in your car, you don't have time to watch something, but you want to listen to something while you drive around, maybe in your work day or your commute, go over to Spotify and search up Wrestling with Power, and you can find all of our episodes going back to day one over there.
Well said, Mr. Mosley. So I want to wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And until then, stay powerful.
Ooh. Yes. Stay powerful, everybody.
That's my line.
That's my line.
That's my line. I stole it.
That's my line. See you next week, everybody.